All right, today we'll be putting a front drive shaft in a Sportsman 570, and we've removed it without removing the differential, and now we're going to put it in without removing the differential. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, just getting that whole thing, but we don't have to remove that battery. You can. Sometimes makes it a lot easier, but in this case we're not going to. We've loosened that battery and slid it all the way forward. And we're going to slide that rear yoke right onto that transmission. So we're going to push that all the way in. Now, we've greased everything. We've replaced the U-joints. And everything should slide together fairly smooth. We will put some WD-40 on that prop shaft, just so it'll slide together a little easier. The easiest way to get to that is just right by that right footwell. And it seems like when you get that to where it needs to be, it'll slide very smoothly, but sometimes that just takes time. Lining that up. No certain spline that has to be on. It just slides in there. And you can actually, if you can get it to a spot where you can use a hammer, if you remember when we pulled it off, we used a crowbar and tapped on it. Okay, so you felt it slide all the way back. You want to make sure it hits good and tight there. Now what you do is take your differential and slide it. Remember that we have a spring pin that we need to line up. So what you can do is find the position the drive shaft needs to be in, or you can jack the back end up and spin those tires, and so you can see it. And you want to be in a spot where you know that you're where you can see that groove. So we're going to take and we're going to spin that rear tire just a hair, so that we make sure that we're lining that drive shaft up in the right position. Didn't move much, but we just want to make sure we can move this differential freely right now. There we go. And it's in there. Now you can slide that differential back, and you want to look down underneath. There'll be the 4 holes that your bolts will go in, and you want to re-thread lock those and reinstall them, tighten them down. You want to make sure that those are tight. If that front differential comes loose, you could create some major damage, but you want to make sure everything's straight. Now, before you go in too far with those bolts, a lot of times what we'll do is spin it or get to a space where we can turn that, put that spring pin in, so that we know that will go in freely before having to move it back and forth. But on that transmission in your rear part of that prop shaft, you're able to slide back and forth some, so keep that in mind.